All right, welcome to Purpose and Power with Stephen Walker. I am your host, and I am excited about tonight's show. We are going to be talking about purpose and power. First off, I just want to say thank you to the network, BBN, and allowing me to have this little bit of time to talk to you about that. Check out our website. It is mypurposemypower.com. Mypurposemypower.com. That's what we're all about. We're all about purpose. And I want to take tonight's show. This is like the first show for us. So I want to take tonight's show and just talk about my purpose and go a little bit back into my story. What we're going to do with this show is we're actually going to have guests on the show to talk about purpose, their purpose. And actually starting tonight, we are going to have a guest on the other half of the show. And that'll be Sadia Walker Douglas. She's the owner of Prosperity Financial Services. And she's going to come on, talk about her story and share a little bit about her background and how she got started in doing what she's doing. And just give us some insight into finances, taxes, things like that, those things that you want to hear about because this is tax season. So she is the perfect guest to come on. And there's another little surprise I'll share on the other side. But each week in April, I'll have a guest on that will give us some insight into how they found their purpose and began walking in their power. And what we want to do with the show is to help you, the viewer, understand what it takes to identify your purpose and also to put some practical steps in motion to help you walk that purpose out and get the power to be who God created you to be. Again, I am your host, Stephen Walker, and I want to talk a little bit about my past. When it comes to purpose, you have to understand something about purpose. The purpose of a thing is defined by the maker, the one that created the thing, right? So we first have to understand that it is God that created us. He created us with a purpose. If you know that, like right from the beginning, you know that the fact that you're alive right now means that you have purpose. Now, whether you know the purpose or not at this point doesn't matter. But you know this is that if you're here right now and you're watching this video, you have a purpose. Now, what we want to do is be able to give you some tips to help you discover the purpose for your life and help you walk in that power. But you have to understand first that God created you, and He created you where you are. He created you in the family that you're in, at the time you were born, in the community that you're in, around the people that you've been around, because it's all a part of your purpose. Now, it doesn't really make sense to a lot of us that we're born in the family that we're born in. I don't know if you're like me. A lot of your family members are crazy. You're like, why am I in this family? But guess what? They say the same thing about you, that you're crazy. So we're all in this thing together. You don't get to pick your parents. You don't get to pick your brothers and your sisters or your cousins, but you do get to pick your choices. And that's what it's all about. It's about you understanding that you are here for a reason and for a purpose. And until you fulfill and find your purpose, you're never truly going to be happy. So that you might be feeling that about yourself right now, but we're going to talk about that in a little bit. And I'm going to take you through my story to show you how I began discovering my purpose, right? The purpose finding your purpose has road signs. And you're going to see some things in the story I'm going to tell you that will point the direction of why I am who I am. I am the owner, the CEO and owner of Manifest Media, LLC. We are a brand marketing company, and we have a business consultancy as well. We do business coaching. And I've been in advertising and marketing for 30 years, right? So but there's a reason why I've been in advertising and marketing for 30 years, because there's something that early on I discovered about myself. Now, I'm going to tell you my story. So I'm the youngest of three. I was born in Germantown, Philadelphia, and I'm the baby. So I pretty much got to observe life through my brothers and my sisters' successes and mistakes. And so as I was growing up, I realized that being the youngest, I could learn quicker by watching others. And so in our family, whether there were things happening between my brother and my sister in the community in terms of conflict, I got to see how to deal with conflict because Usually I wasn't the one initiating anything. It was happening with my brother or my sister or someone outside, like my friends and things like that. But I quickly discovered that even though I was a fighter, I always wanted to stop people from fighting. Like I never wanted to see people fight. And I was strong enough and wild enough to stop fights. I could stop two people from fighting and they wouldn't want to fight me. They would just stop. So I think that that was one thing I discovered about myself was that I was a peacemaker. I was someone who wanted everyone to get along. And I want everyone, look, can we just play games, have fun, enjoy life early on? And even in elementary school, I had some trauma that happened to me within my family. And so I was going to elementary school and I was acting out because I had some things happening at home that was affecting my personality. In elementary school, I remember I was in first grade and my teacher, I got in trouble just before lunch. So my teacher took me and sat me at the teacher's table for punishment. While all my friends were sitting there having lunch, enjoying themselves, and I'm watching them having fun, I don't get to get lunch. I have no lunch. And she comes in front of me. She puts a piece of paper, a blank piece of paper, and a pencil in front of me. And she walks back over to the other side of the table and she begins having lunch with the teachers. Well, I sat there all by myself, looking at this piece of paper and looking at my friends having fun. And the more I looked at them having fun, the madder I got. And I remember I looked back at this teacher and I just stared at her. I stared at her. I couldn't believe she took me away from my friends. And I stared at her so long that when I finally looked down at the piece of paper, I literally could see her face on the page, like it had seared into my mind. And so, since I had nothing else to do, I took the pencil and I drew out what I could see. That began me discovering that I had the gift for art. And that I began to work on developing my art, drawing kids in school. Eventually started, as I got into middle school, started drawing tattoos on people with magic markers, started drawing on clothes. I was anywhere I could draw, I was drawing, and anything that came to mind, I could create. And so that was a gift I began to work with. So here I am. I am a peacemaker. I started being creative, and everything that was good with creativity, I started working with. And I started realizing that these were things that I was good at. So when it comes to purpose, the first thing you have to do is identify what is it that you're good at. Like look back when you were young. Like what from being young could you say you enjoyed doing and you were good at, and actually you would do for free. Like if it was a job, they wouldn't even have to pay you because you know what, it's something you enjoy doing. And so as an artist, I began to kind of explore different forms of art. And I found that because, being in school, I was always a pretty popular kid in elementary school and middle school. I was a pretty popular kid and I could pretty much talk my way in and out of any situation with kids or with teachers. So I was able to talk really good. And that was the third gift that I discovered was that I really had a good gift of communication, that I was able to articulate exactly what I wanted to say to people. I wasn't afraid of speaking in front of crowd. Matter of fact, that motivated me. That was something that, as a kid, I would always tell jokes because I love having people having fun around me. I love seeing people enjoy life. And so I was that kid. I was that kid that would just tell a joke, crack on people, and just have fun. And oftentimes I got in trouble because you get into mischief when you do stuff like that. And I remember one time, my mom, I was on punishment, and there's a theme here. So I'm kind of sharing my story. I'm only picking out the parts where I got in trouble. I had tons of good times, but I'm going to share how oftentimes in trouble you discover purpose, right? So when kids are getting in trouble for doing a certain thing over and over again, oftentimes that's a gift that they have that needs to be honed and redirected so that they don't get in trouble. So anyway, so I had a gift for bringing crowds around, and I'm a likable guy, and so most people would come around and I could get them laughing. I would tell jokes, and I watched a lot of television, so I was able to grab jokes off of television. I remember watching Richard Pryor, his whole show one time, and he was telling these jokes, and the crowd was just going off. And I started thinking, I like to do that. I like to tell a couple of jokes, get people laughing. And so, like I said, this one day I was on punishment. My mom went to sleep. She worked at nighttime. And so some kids came up. They was like, Steven, can you come outside? And I was like, hold on a second. And I checked. My mom was sound asleep. I was like, yeah, I can come out. So I opened up the door. And I wasn't supposed to go outside because I'm on punishment. So sometimes you just got to take a risk. So I took that risk and I went outside. And I had about 4 or 5 kids standing in front of me. I was maybe 10 feet away from my front door. And mind you, my brother and sister's in the house. Now, I didn't say earlier, I have an older brother, older sister. We're all born 1 year apart, and I'm the baby, right? So they're both in the house. So surely they're going to look out for me if mom wakes up. So what happened was I was at the end of our little walkway, and the kids, I was telling jokes. And Richard Pryor, if you know anything about Richard Pryor, is he liked to cuss a lot. And so if you can imagine, here I am, I'm about 8, 9 years old, and I'm telling Richard Pryor jokes, and I'm killing it. I mean, these kids are rolling, grabbing their stomachs. They're having the best times of their lives. And I had them going. And once you get them going, you can just keep them going because they already got that laugh bug. And so I had them laughing and laughing. I say my best joke for last. And a joke has a setup, right? And so I started setting the joke up, and they were smiling and laughing. And then right when I got to the punchline, I threw out the punchline. A bunch of cuss words was in it. I threw it out, and the kids locked up and stopped laughing and just looked at me. And I looked at their faces in confusion, like, what's going on? Like, this was it. This was the crescendo right here. What's happening? And then their look of just staring turned to fear. And I looked into their eyes, and I realized they weren't really looking at me. They were looking past me. You might have guessed it. My mom woke up, had come outside, and was standing right behind me. She heard that whole thing. So needless to say, I walked with a limp because of that day. No, I'm joking, but I did get a beating. But I realized that I have a gift for humor. That's something that I can use to be creative in the things that I do. And so moving on from there, I started, applying my gift at school, art competitions, started winning art competitions, writing stories. I started writing stories, doing good with that. Writing poetry, started writing poetry. I had a gift for rhyming and things like that. And so I had, all of a sudden, out of that came a gift for writing. So all these gifts started kind of adding up, and I could see it kind of leading me into a direction. And I enjoyed it. It made me feel like I was born for this. It made me feel like whenever I was doing those things, I was really being Stephen. Like, this is me. This is who I've been created to be. Why? Because it comes naturally. Now, if you followed me on social media, you heard me talk about, there's skills and there's talents. They're different. So when it comes to understanding your purpose, you have to understand the skill is something that you learn or something you can be taught. And the talent really is something you're born with. It's a natural ability. It's a God-given ability. And when talent and skills come together, you really start to find purpose because you're able to flow in those things without anything stopping you. And even if there's something you don't know, you're really quick to learn it because it's a natural inclination. It's something you want to learn. It's something that you understand. It's something you can do. And there's all types of people. I mean, there's people who are good at sports. There's people who are good at reading and getting into science and biology. There's people that's good at just communicating. There's people that's good at listening. I mean, there's a lot of different skill sets that are out there. But you have to do is assess what yours is. And so you got to kind of go through a process for that. But I want to continue telling you about myself. And so from that day forward, I started really looking at what do I want to be? What do I want to become? And like many of you, you probably had from time to time things that happened in your life that made you feel like this is pretty cool. I like doing this. You're in school, your teachers are giving you accolades, you may be winning some awards, some certificates, some competitions or contests, and you're like, this is great. So those are arrows on the road to finding your purpose. So I don't know if you guys remember, and then I'm dating myself here a little bit, but how many of you guys remember field days? Field days. Now, back in the day, I don't know if they're still doing it. They probably are doing it, but they're calling it something different. But field days would be competitions at your elementary school, your middle school. I don't know if high school does it, but I know elementary school did. And on field days, they'd have certain competitions that students could enter, and they could get little awards, little badges, little ribbons, little medals, things like that. Well, I was always that kid that wanted to have 5, 10, 15 different ribbons. Like, I want to be the best at everything that I do. And so on field days, whenever field days came around, you can count on me winning. I'm going to win. I'm a outrun, out cartwheel, out crawl, out tug of war, out shift and slide. And whatever it is it's about, I'm going to win. And I realized something else about myself. I'm very competitive. I like competition. Matter of fact, I thrive in competition. Some people shy away from competition. You know what? And that's okay. Hey, that's not you. You weren't born for that. That's not what you want to do. That's fine. But then there's others that they wake up and they want to compete. They want to have some physical contact. They want to be out there doing that. And that's part of their gifting. That's part of their talent. That's what they've been designed to do. So I'm just trying to give you my story. So hopefully in my story, you can begin understanding a little bit about yourself. And there are good things that happened to you when you were young that help mold your personality. And there's some trauma that may have occurred in your life that you didn't realize has also molded your personality. But both of those things have made you to become who you are today. Now, one thing you cannot do is sit back and say, I have no purpose. Like, I don't know what I want to do. I don't know what I want to be. Guess what? You can find out. You don't have to go through life not knowing anything about your purpose. If you have a job or you own a company or you're doing any kind of work that you do not like, guess what? That's not your purpose. Your purpose is what fulfills you. Your purpose is what drives you, what motivates you. It wakes you up in the morning and lets you sleep peaceful at night. Now, doesn't that sound good? That's what purpose is all about. And when you have that, it gives you power to wake up with vision in your mind and be able to give you energy throughout your day just to run. And I tell people a lot, I'm a business coach, an executive business coach. I'm a spiritual coach. And there's a lot of people I come in contact with on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis. I have clients that pay me to give them counsel for their businesses. I have people who talk to me about their problems. They want spiritual guidance. I have a lot of people who come to me every day, every week, every month. And guess what? I would not change it for my life. I love helping people live their best life, to find their purpose, to find answers for their questions. Why? The reason why is because as I grew up, I started realizing a lot of people have questions. I had questions. My brothers and sister, my brother and my sister have questions. My mom, she had questions. And oftentimes we make mistakes because we don't find the answers in time before we make that mistake. And like I said early on, I realized I was an observer. I'll sit back and watch a whole room and understand who the leaders are, who the followers are, who the troublemakers are, who are the people who just want to get along, who are the people who don't even want to be there, who are the people eager just to be number one in the group. I just discern and the whole lay of the land. Why? Because in my family, being the youngest, I always sat back and watched people demonstrate who they were before I would make a move, before I would understand how to interact with them. And maybe that's a safety thing for me. Maybe I was just trying to see and make sure that I'm guarded enough so that I know how to communicate properly with the people in front of me. And if that's you, that's a great gift. Why? Because a person like that can be a coach. They can be a mentor. They can be a teacher. They can be a counselor. They can be a great parent. Those are the kind of people who help mold the lives of other people. You could be a pastor, a minister. There's a lot of things you could be. So moving on from there, I just want to talk about my involvement with getting involved with organizations that help me kind of hone my skill in. So I joined football. I'm here in Virginia, Richmond, Virginia. And Henrico High School is that's my high school. All right. And so anyway, I went to Henrico High School. I was a pretty fast runner. I love contact sports. So I joined the football team as a freshman and I made the varsity football team. So let me tell you about my experience with that. I got my jacket. I got my letter. I was ready to just do my thing. And I was excited about just, showing off my gift. And I realized that the football team that I joined, the Henrico football team, the senior team, they were awesome. They didn't even need me on there. I mean, I didn't even need to be there. We had people that were stars. I mean, real bona fide stars on our team. And so I got very little playing time and I got comfortable with that. I was fine with that. I said, you know what? I'm on a team. We're winning. Henrico's number one. We all good. I got my jacket. I got my letter, and I'm like, I'm all good. And so I was, stunting like I'm on a team and I'm contributing, but really I was just there to support. Every game I was there to support. Well, to my amazement, and one day the coach decided to put me in the game. Now he didn't tell me ahead of time that I was going in the game. He just called me out and said, "Steven, go in." Well, I was a wide receiver and a cornerback. So he put me in on offense in the wide receiver slot, and they called the play. I remember I went to the huddle. They called the play, and I didn't know what in the world they were talking about. I had no clue what the play was. All I knew was the quarterback said something. The guys separated. They broke. We had to go to our positions. I went to the edge, got in my spot because I knew where to stand, and I didn't know what the play was. So I just kind of when they said hike, I just kind of moved forward a little bit. The cornerback on the other side saw me come forward and he grabbed my shoulder pads. And I was wondering, why did he grab me? And I looked to my left, the whole football team is running at me. And before I knew it, they were running over me. So after they ran over me, I got up, I had to stay in. I was like, "Coach, take me out." He was like, "Nope, stay in. You got to stay in." I go to the huddle. They called the same play. And I'm like, okay, I know they're running a sweep to my side. I saw the play last time. He just called it. It's a sweep. Get in the same position. This time I got you. I run right at the cornerback. He grabs me. He throws me straight to the ground. They run right over me again. I'm screaming, Coach, take me out, take me out. Well, the coach finally takes me out of the game. I'm happy. I'm hurt. I'm confused. I'm dazed. I'm like, what happened? What happened was because I felt like they didn't need me right from the beginning. Like, I'm a freshman. Right from first, I went through all the practices, but I didn't really pay too much attention because I realized I would never play. We got too many stars. I was like, you know what? So there's no need for me to really try to learn anything because it's not like I'm gonna get to play. Maybe I'll play next year. So I was coasting, and I realized that was something that is a detriment to purpose. If you find yourself coasting right now because you seem like you're on vacation, like you got time to just kind of sit back and do whatever you want to do, you know what? That's a mistake. This is a time where you got to ramp up. You got to get ready for the season that's ahead of you. Why? Because if you don't, it's going to run straight over you. And I realized that was a character flaw within me, that I didn't take time to really join in the way I should have during the practice time. So when it was game time, I wasn't ready to play the game. So I just, I want to kind of share my story to help you see how, through failure, you can learn, you can grow stronger. But if you're going to find your path to purpose, if you're going to walk in your power, you're going to have to be open and teachable. You're going to have to find someone that can coach you along the path to help you see what you cannot see. There's a saying that says that you don't know what you don't know. Think about it. You don't know what you don't know. Okay. That's the purpose of having a teacher, a mentor, a coach. That's the whole purpose of having people that can instruct you on the path to learning. So if that's you, if you're sitting back, you're a business owner, maybe you're an individual, maybe you're a parent, and you have questions, you have challenges, and you're sitting there and you're thinking, you know what, I'm tired of this. I'm tired of feeling like I'm on my own. Like, I need help. I need help. I need somebody to help me. If that's you, there's an answer for you. There are people who can tell you what you need to do. There are people who can coach you, who can train you, who can mentor you to a level where you can do what you need to do. I don't care in what area it is, whether it's in relationship, whether it deals with finances, whether it deals with business, whether it deals with just being at peace with yourself or understanding who God is and who you are in God. Whatever it is, there's someone there that can instruct you with that, but you got to seek that answer out. The Bible says, he that seeks shall find. He that knocks, the door shall be open to them. It's a spiritual principle. But I was telling somebody recently that I had come into their life and I was coaching them, I was teaching them, and I said, it's a true statement, and I don't know who actually this quote comes from, but the statement goes, when the student is ready, the teacher will arrive. When the student is ready, the teacher will arrive. Well, I like to look at it this way. When a person becomes open and teachable, then they finally can hear the people around them that are speaking into their lives and that have been teaching them all along. And maybe some new people will come along to add to that. But you know as well as I know that as long as you've been alive, there are people you have listened to and you have done what they said. And there's people that you didn't listen to and you regret that you didn't do what they said. And that's what I'm talking about. In this season, we don't want to walk around aimlessly as if we have no vision for our life. Like every day we just wake up and we just do things every day. And it's the same mundane day every day, day after day. Your life has purpose and you only get one. And time is slipping into the future. Every second, time is slipping into the future. So what you have to do, you can't stop it. You can't stop time. You can't reserve time. Time slips through your fingertips every second of every minute of every day. You have to invest time in yourself. You have to come to understand that you have a purpose. And you have to say to yourself, you know what? I can become greater than I am now. And I don't care what mistakes you've made. I don't care what you've done. I don't care what the world is saying about you, your family saying about you, your spouse, your children, yourself. I don't care what any negative is coming your way. None of that's true. Why? Because if you make up your mind to change, change will come. You can actually change the direction of your life. And that's what happened to me. And this is the last part of my story that I want to share before we take a short break. But I want to share with you about the biggest thing that helped change my life. There were a couple of events that did that. When I turned around 16 to 17, I was really bad by that time. I was drinking, I was doing drugs, I was just out there in the street. And some of you might have some similar stories. I was a violent person. People hurt me. And there's a saying that hurt people hurt people. And I hurt people because people hurt me. And that kind kid that loved to have people laugh turned to a very bitter person. There were things that happened in my family, and it just really made me really mad. And so I was acting out. And it got to the point that when I turned, well, I had run-ins with cops all along the way, but when I turned 16 was when I got arrested. And I got arrested for something really stupid. It was on my birthday. And I won't tell you what it is, but anyway, I got arrested. And I remember my mom, she came to pick me up. Like I said, it was on my birthday. So she was at home baking a birthday cake for me. And I was out getting in trouble. Why? Because I was bored. That's why. Exactly right. So you better keep your kids active. That's a little advice for you. And so I was bored and I got arrested. She had to come pick me up. And I remember she picked me up. And when we got in the car, my mom had no problem with disciplining me. Matter of fact, I needed that. Without that, I probably would already be in jail or to kill somebody or kill myself. So I'm thankful for those times that helped me to get better. But you know, like I said, I have an older brother, older sister. I'm the youngest of three, and you know, our father wasn't in our life, so it was just our mom raising us, and she had it hard because she had three children, 1 year apart, and we were all hitting puberty at the same time. So we were all driving her crazy. And so anyway, I got arrested and she picked me up and we were in the car going home and she was just yelling at me, man. She was going in on me. And I was by this time, you know, you've been a teenager. If you aren't younger than 16, you know exactly what I'm saying. That, you know, when you get around that age, you kind of don't care. You're like, whatever. I mean, I did something wrong, whatever. So I'm in the car and she's yelling and she really hurts my feelings. She says something that hurts my feelings. And you know what I said to her was, you know what? I bet my father wouldn't say that to me. Well, like I said, I never ever had time to spend with my father. You know, he wasn't around. And that hurt her to her core. She stopped yelling and she just kept driving home. Now, one thing you don't want to happen when you're trying to discover your purpose is to die before you reach it. And I just knew when I got home that she was just going to kill me. And we walked up the sidewalk, we walked into the house. I was like, okay, this is it, you know. And so I walked in behind her. I just felt like she was gonna turn around and swing on me. And she walked around the corner. She walked down the hall to her bedroom. She closed the door. I'm standing in a completely silent house. She went to her bedroom and she cried for 30 minutes straight. 30 minutes straight. And I sat on that couch, hearing how I hurt my mom to her core. That changed my life. That day, because she was completely open with me. I had taken her to the breaking point. She didn't just beat me. If she had beaten me, I wouldn't have got the lesson. But I saw the consequences of my actions. And it made me realize something. My mom is the only person on this planet that loves me more than anyone else. She's at the top of that list. And I realized that I will never hurt her again. I will never hurt her again. I loved my mom more after that than ever before. And I loved her for the rest of my life the same way. Because that day I realized that you can have gifts and you can have talents and you can have abilities, but if you use them to hurt people, then you're a horrible person. And I didn't want to be a horrible person. I wanted to be a better person. And in that moment, that's what I said. I'm going to be better and I'm going to do better. So when you're finding your path to purpose, like I said, oftentimes there's a purpose for pain. Oftentimes your mistakes reveal something about you or others that will help you get on your path to finding out who you were created to be in God. Like I said, I got arrested. She had brought me home that day. She cried. After I got arrested, I went to go see the judge. I went to court. I was in court. My brother had already he was in lockup at the time. So he was already in jail. And so the judge actually mentioned that to me. He's like, your brother's in lockup right now. And he was talking to me about what I had done wrong. And he was like, look, this is your first offense. You haven't done anything before. I haven't seen you before. And I was like, no, sir. And this is what he said. I'm going to give you a second chance. I'm going to let you off, but I don't ever want to see you in this courtroom again. And he gave me a second chance. And guess what? I took it. That right there was pivotal for my entire life. Because in that moment, I decided I don't need to be bad. I don't need to act out. Actually, I need to find my purpose so that I never show up in this courtroom again. And that's when I threw myself into my giftings. I started learning how to communicate correctly with people, how not to cause problems, how to be a peacemaker, how to use all my giftings and all of my talents to figure out exactly what God's made me to be. and it sent me on this path to purpose that I've been walking now for 50 years. So hopefully some of that has helped you out. I definitely want to encourage you, because this is a time where you can actually lock down in your life and say, you know what, tomorrow is going to be better than today, and every day can be better thereafter. If you have that mindset that you're going to find your purpose and walk in your power. All right, so we're going to take a short break, and on the other side, we're going to bring in our special guest, Sadia Walker Douglas, the CEO and owner of Prosperity Financial Services. And I want you to take a look at what's coming. One of the projects we're working on is a really cool commercial. I want you to see it. And we'll be right back in just a minute. When we come back, we're going to talk about finances. We're going to talk about the things that will help you grow from a female perspective, because you heard from me. You're going to hear from Sadia, and you're going to also come to understand that the giftings that you have are not just for you. They're in you to help other people grow. They're in you to help people that you don't even know. As long as you know you have purpose, you can work on the things you don't know. You can become more proficient in it. And before you know it, you're doing things that you wish that you had known all along. You would have done them earlier. Like I said, I'm 50 years old, and I had no clue that all that I've been doing in the last 365 days, I'm coming up on a 1-year anniversary of me officially launching everything that I'm doing. And what's happened in the last 365 days has absolutely blown my mind. So I want to be able to share with you a partnership that I created with a company called Keystone Bible. And we launched a website that's pretty cool. It's called KingdomBibleClub.com. And hopefully you'll be able to see this and enjoy it. And then we'll learn a little bit more about some of the other projects that we're working on, some of our other partnerships. And then hopefully we'll be able to get things going the way we want to get them going. So there are some other people that we're going to highlight during the break. Hopefully you'll enjoy those as well. And there'll be people that you can support. And that's the one thing about the BBN network, is that we want to have people that can contribute to the broader community come on and educate you on some of the things that you can operate in, some things that you can support, some things that you can help out with. So like I said, we're going to take a short break, and hopefully we have everything ready and we can go ahead and just roll into that. And I'll see you.
The Black Business Expo is changing my life. This year, they are giving away laptops and even $5,000 in cash to students just like me. I'm Alexis, and I want to go to college to fulfill my dream of becoming an entrepreneur. Help the Black Business Expo going to www.blackbusinessexpousa.com and also becoming a vendor, a sponsor, or donating.
right. Welcome back to Purpose and Power. I am your host, Stephen Walker. Glad you stayed with us because we have a special guest that is coming on. She is one amazing woman. She knows how to handle money like no one that I know. And then there's a surprise about it that I'm going to show in just a little bit. But right now, I'd like to bring on the one, the only Sadia Walker Douglas, my CPA.
Hi.
Hey,
thanks for having me on tonight. How are you?
I am good. I am awesome. And I am excited to have you on the show. I just want to say thank you. I know this is your anniversary time right here, you and your hubby.
Yes.
So thank you for giving us some time. I appreciate that. Shout out to Ronnie Rome. Appreciate you, brother. But I want to introduce our audience to you. I want to give some background on you a little bit. You have a pretty extensive background. So viewers, don't mind me, but I'm actually going to have to read this off because I can't memorize all of the information that I need to share. So I want to talk about her background just a little bit. Sadia is the CEO of Prosperity Financial Services, which she started back in 2003 to address individual and business taxation needs, as well as the lack of free debt management education. She's a certified public accountant and received her BSBA from the Robbins School of Business at the University of Richmond and her MBA with a concentration in accounting from Virginia Commonwealth University. Sadia is a member of the AICPA, the VSCPA, and the Richmond Association of Government Accountants, where she served as the Richmond Accountability Chair, the Regional Accountability Outreach Coordinator, and past president of the Richmond chapter. I'm telling y'all, this girl is bad right here, boy. Listen to all this. She has served on the boards of several nonprofits, including the Marguerite Christian Athletic Association. Did I say that correctly?
Yep, Marguerite.
Okay, Marguerite and Gathering Grounds Ministry, Bride of Christ Ministries, and Walthall Greek Swim and Racket Club, SRC. Welcome, 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 Sadia Walker Douglas to Purpose and Power. How did I do? Was that pretty good?
Oh, man, you knocked it out the park.
All right,
you knocked it out the park.
Great. So I want you to tell our viewers, and our viewers is, we call them the Purpose and Power Nation. I want you to tell the Purpose and Power Nation a little bit about yourself, something I did not share.
Well, what I will say is that while I started my business way back in 2003, I actually started learning my business while I was in high school.
Oh, come on now.
I know. It's, I think God plays such a pivotal role for us in deciding our gifts and talents. And we see little peaks of it throughout our life, but you don't know the big story. We only see that little bit.
Yeah.
And so I was in 11th grade and I took accounting information systems and learned how to program accounting using this archaic language called DOS.
DOS?
Yes, taking it back. I started.
I know millennials are going, DOS? What's DOS?
What is that?
Yeah.
It's the ones and zeros, unfortunately.
Right. It's the foundation for all computers.
That's right. And so I started actually learning that. And then I took a bookkeeping class. I took an accounting class. So by the time I graduated, I had
wait. Before you talk about graduation now, what kind of student were you in high school?
Okay, so I have to admit, I was a gifted student. I didn't study much.
Okay, did you see the look on my face? That was one of complete shock. Now, see, I was waiting to share my secret, but I'm going to have to share it right here, right now. Okay, Purpose and Power Nation, one thing you don't know about Sadia Douglas is that she's my sister. She's my sister.
That's right.
I lived with her all the way through school, and she just said she didn't really have to study. Now, I just knew the reason why you did better than me in school was because you studied harder. And to find out now that you didn't even study.
No, but I did my homework though. That was different. I did all of my homework.
Okay.
And I did not skip a class until the last day of my senior year. senior skip day, and I was eating lunch with my girlfriend at a restaurant thinking the cops were going to come any moment and arrest me. That's how bad I was.
So I'm out here just having fun, doing my thing, being bad, getting in trouble, not even worried about the cops. And here you are, not even studying, but staying out of trouble. No wonder why you make more money than me.
I would not say that. I would not say that.
All right,
God has blessed us both.
At what age did you start doing accounting?
So I did accounting, like I said, out of school. That's actually what made me start doing my own taxes. So that's back when we did it on pencil and paper. And I remember going to my mom's accountant and saying, did I do this right? She looked it over. She said, you did it right. I said, okay, thank you. Wow. And actually, she is one of the reasons why I like accounting. I would be at my mom's best friend's house, who was our accountant, and she had all these accounting books. Mm-hmm. And I would always sit in her middle room and open up her books and looking at her math books and her accounting books.
I feel like I don't even know who you are.
I know. I was like very inquisitive. I would say painfully shy, and
I spent a lot of extrovert.
Mm-hmm. I spent a lot of time reading. So I taught myself in middle school. I taught myself Braille and sign language, and was at the point where my middle school counselor every day took me over to the high school so I could participate in the American Sign Language class there.
Okay, I'm feeling like we live totally separate lives, even though we lived in the same house. How is it that you got to do? I do remember, and all, look, Purpose and Power Nation, bear with me for a second, because like I said, on the path to purpose, there's signs that show who you are. I remember one day, my mom took Sadia, and you guys know by now she's my sister. She's also my CPA. I wouldn't trust anybody else with my money. And you shouldn't either. Call her. You need to call her. Matter of fact, give out your website while we're talking about it.
My website is pfsurcpa.com.
All right.
804-349-8600. Call me anytime.
Oh, she gave out a number. Boy, I know you're serious. Wait a minute. All right, look. I had to sit up in my chair. Hold up. We're on the World Wide Web, right? We're being seen in like over.
Make it happen. Make it happen. All
right, so go ahead and get that number out. This is the number to Prosperity Financial Services for Sadia Douglas, your CPA. All right, go ahead. What's your phone
number? 804-349-8600.
Man, this is our first show, and that's an absolute first. I ain't never heard you give out your number so easily. All right, so look, let me tell you what I saw. So my mom, our mother took Sadia to the library. And I remember when she got home, I was coming up the hallway, Sadia was coming in, and she had a black trash bag in her hands, completely filled up with something. And I'm like, I thought they went to the library, not like to the garbage. Like, what's in this huge black trash bag? She goes to her bedroom, she puts it down. I look inside. It's completely packed with books. I'm talking books this thick. I literally almost threw up. I mean, how can you not only read a book that thick, but books? And I guarantee you, she read all those books within a week or two. I mean, she consumed it. And that's why I think you are so intelligent and you learn so quick because you practice on that. All right, so I'm gonna stop taking your time. I'm gonna let you get back to your story. We're talking about your experience in accounting, and I want to hear about your college experience as well.
Okay, so I actually did not go to college right out of school. Many people thought I would, but I had my daughter right before my senior year. So
right there. What I want you to do is I want you to put in the chat your web address, because I think say your web address again.
Oh, PFS URCPA.
Yes, it's not UE, it's URCPA.com. Okay, good. I just want to make sure that once it scrolls, that people will be able to see. So it's not with an E, it's with our PFS URCPA. That's my fault. I do apologize. I should have caught that. But anyway, go ahead. Continue with your story.
And so I had my daughter, and I started working. I was about trying to make money. I had everything that I needed, had 2 jobs, picked up a 3rd job. And By the time I was 25, I was an office manager in a doctor's office. I had worked myself up. And all of our patients kept saying, when are you going to med school? When are you going to med school? And I'm like, I ain't going to med school.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm squeamish. But it made me start thinking, what is this all my life is going to be? What's the next step? And it honestly pushed me to start thinking about school. The seed was planted. And then I found out that J. Sargent Reynolds had a program that if you kept a 4.0, you could get a scholarship to University of Richmond.
A full ride scholarship.
Full ride.
Woo, praise the Lord. Let's go.
As soon as I heard it, I said, how do I get it? What do I need to do? And I was talking to somebody younger than me. They were like, go call the school and talk to them. I found out that I could do it. I put in my resignation for 3 months so that I could start school in January.
Wow, that's vision. Okay.
Yep. And I went back to school full time, 15 credits every semester, all through summer. And I had my 4.0 and 63 credits, all A's.
Now, which college was this?
This was at J. Sargent Reynolds Community College.
Okay.
I had applied for the scholarship to U of R. And I'm gonna have to testify just a moment.
Come on, testify.
They denied me and
After
gave it
for the program.
and gave it to 3 people.
Okay.
But see, I knew my vision and I knew what God said.
So you had to
And
fight.
I knew I was going there.
Come on.
So I went in there to my coordinator and told her something was wrong. They sent me a letter saying that I wasn't qualified. Turns out they had not included all of my credits from my second page of credits.
Okay.
So they had to create a scholarship for me.
Come on, praise the Lord. Won't he do it?
Won't he do it?
Won't he do
it? And so I was actually, they created a scholarship for business. And so I was actually a scholarship recipient. I was on a pamphlet. I had to go and speak at different events at the school.
Now, wait a minute. This is U of R, right?
Yep, University of Richmond.
And didn't you make the dean's list?
Oh, I made the dean's list. I was president of the business school.
And weren't you Kuma Boombala or something?
I was.
Was that Summa Cum Laude?
Yes.
Okay. I'm joking because I never even got close to nothing like that. But congratulations.
Yes, yeah. And I worked hard. When I tell you I worked hard, I worked hard.
You did all that with the baby.
Yes, I did. And I made sure that school was number one. It was my vision. You know, I was in the Word. I went to Richmond Christian Center. The Bible, I learned so much about the Bible. I will tell you this. When I started going to Richmond Christian Center, I was making $5 an hour. Okay. When I graduated, my first job, I was making $35,000 a year. So I added a little over $20,000.
Woo! Goodness.
And I can tell you how faithful God is. Every single time I changed jobs, I was getting $17,000 raises, $20,000 raises, $25,000 raises, moving from job to job. I started out as a state auditor, which was I'm so thankful that I took that job and learned the basics. It made it so when I took the CPA exam, it was easier for me.
Yep.
And I left there and went and was director of finance in Charles City County, which my family is from Charles City. Okay,
stop right there, because we're talking about purpose and power. For the Purpose and Power Nation, when we have a guest on, I want you to see the road signs as they tell, each guest tells their story. I want you to see the road signs. Now, the first road sign we pointed to was the fact that we found out that Saudi is a reader. She doesn't mind learning. She's a learner. We found that out. We found out that she researched what she wanted. She lined it up. She's a strategist, and she fights for what she wants. When they denied her, she fought for it. She found where the problem was. She didn't take no for an answer. She pressed through to that. And she came to understand that she enjoys numbers, right? So she enjoys working with numbers. So through everything she's doing, she's got her vision in front of her and she's pressing towards that. And the last thing that I want you to hear, and the thing that I'm hearing from you, and not just because you're my sister and I love you, but you have work ethic. Like, you know what it is you want, and you're going to put in the work to get it with no excuses. You did that when you had a baby when you were young. You went through all of those hardships. You went through college with a baby, and you 4.0, summa cum laude, new job, new increase, new job, high raise, all along keeping your eyes focused on your purpose. Now, so when it comes to accounting, and I know you said that you love the fact that you went to Charles City, where our because we're part Chickahominy Indian, so we love our Charles I'm about to say Charles Philly kin, because we were born in Philadelphia, but our family's in Charles City. But what is it that you love about accounting?
Honestly, accounting is like a puzzle for me. It makes sense.
Like a language, isn't it?
It is. There's something called a Fibonacci, which is a swirl.
Woo.
Okay. If you were to look around my house, you see all of these swirls, this Fibonacci pattern everywhere. It's actually a mathematical equation.
Mm-hmm.
So you find
Fibonacci sequence.
Yes. So showing your arts language right there, sir. I see you. And so I learned that for me, numbers, they don't lie, for one. For me, it's security. I understand it. Even in high school, I learned to read math. Most people don't read math. Mm-hmm. No, for me, it was reading math. I won't even go into the fact that when I was in college, my junior year, most of it, I was in and out the hospital. I was sick with Crohn's disease. Mm. So I taught myself at home, macroeconomics. Yeah, it was tough.
I see now I should have hung out with you a little bit more than hanging out in the streets. It probably would have helped me out a lot.
Just a little bit.
Later on in life. But let's talk about your background a little bit. I mean, you have a tax background. What's your background? What's your specialty? What services do you provide with Prosperity Financial Services?
So my main service that I provide, I want to be able to help families change their future by becoming more prosperous. And one way that I do that is by encouraging people to have their own company, establish your company, change your financial future and the future of your children by investing in yourself. Mm-hmm. A lot of times we work for someone else, we're making them money. We're not making ourselves money. Instead of working 60 and 70 hours for a job, do it for yourself. Plant in your children. Let them see and work in your business with you.
So let me ask you a question then. In this season right here, a lot of people have gone through a horrific year. It has devastated a lot of businesses. What would you say are the largest contributors to the success that you're having now that others can implement and have the same success?
Well, quite honestly, when I went full-time in my business, I approached it from the point of view that I was just going to go full-time. I was just going to do taxes. But I had a wonderful business coach. My business coach is my brother, Stephen Walker, My Purpose, My Power.
Come on now.
Yes. And I recommend him simply because he had me focus. He taught me to really look at my lines of business, my pricing structure. He told me stop giving away my time for free. And he gave me homework. Okay. He held me accountable, which is what a business coach will do, because they can't want for you more than you want for yourself.
Wow, that's good.
And so while we were brother and sisters, he was my coach. And when he told me stuff, yes, sir. Okay. Wrote my notes down. And when he called and I didn't have it done, I was like, I'm sorry.
Yep.
And so now when I talk to my business coach, I could show you on my phone, I have a list of everything that we've talked about and what I need to do. And when he's just free floating, telling me ideas, I'm putting it down. I'm taking notes.
And that's one thing I can say is that the things that I've told you, you have implemented them. I have a lot of coaching clients that I share with, and some of them struggle to do the things that I'm saying in the time allotted. They procrastinate and they delay the outcomes. So, but you've seen great success, and I'm excited to say that you're one of the best coaching clients that I have, because you actually listen and you do, and you implement the strategy that we put together just for you. And that's the thing about the Purpose and Power process, is that we develop a customized strategy for each one of our clients. But in the last 5 minutes, and I'm gonna give it all to you. I want you to talk about your company. I want you to talk about, actually, you know what? I want you to talk about whatever you think would benefit the Purpose Empower Nation. And don't forget to give your number out at the end. And we'll be finishing in about three. Actually, we got about three minutes. So you got it. So
the one thing I would like to share is that your future is in your hands. We've come through a year that have brought upon mental health issues, food insecurity issues. Parents are struggling to keep their sanity because they're now having to be teacher to 3 and 4 children at home. I would like for you, and I would submit to you, that take some time and think about what your gift is. What is something that you're passionate about? What is something that when you do it, you love it? Is it taking care of dogs? You know, is it being a person who can sell something on Etsy? Are you a good promoter? Are you a creative person? Think about something you can do to get an extra stream of income for your family. And it sows into your spirit. See, God gave us different gifts. You can have a job or you can work in your passion. My brother and I are very fortunate to have worked in our passion. Okay. One time when my boss was giving me a evaluation, he asked me what I liked about it. I said, I'm working in the area of my passion. So it's easy for me. That's because that's something, a God-given talent. What is your God-given talent? And look for that talent and look for it in your children and start cultivating it. Pay them for their talent. Let them do things. Let them try different things. The good thing, I think right now, bringing us out, everyone has received the stimulus money. I would submit to you, if you haven't spent it, one, save some. Because this year is not over. The pandemic is not over. Put some to the side. You know, you might need to buy a car. You might need to add it to buy a house, which is a great time to buy a home. But then also, you may want to think about budgeting. Now, if you give me a call, I'll give you a free 30-minute session to help you budget the money that you have. If you don't want to talk about budgeting, we could talk about your taxes. We could talk about your business. We could talk about questions you have. A free 30-minute consultation. You can give me a call at 804-349-8600. And you see my website scrolling. It's PFS UR-CPA. And not only am I your CPA, you are, but I graduated from U of R.
I wondered about that. When I saw that in your URL, I was like, I wonder what that stands for. But in closing, I just wanted to take the next 30 seconds. If someone is wanting to start a business or a nonprofit, can you help with that?
Absolutely. And that's one of actually a line of service that I really have developed and honed in on, because when we have our own businesses, we are in control of our future. So by having your business and creating it legally and protecting yourself in that business, that's what I can help you with. And that's what you can do to help your family. So please give me a call.
Purpose Empower Nation, you heard it for yourself, Sadia Douglas. She is your CPA. She's inviting you to give her a call at 804-349-8600. She said that she will give you a free 30-minute session. And look, do not be shy. Share that number with other people you know that are wanting to start companies or nonprofits that have tax issues. And maybe they haven't paid their taxes in 3-4 years and they're afraid that their IRS is going to take them and drag them out of the house and they need help. She can help with that. So make sure that you give her information out and you go to her website. Her website is amazing. You know how I know that? It's because I designed her website. Our company, Manifest Media, she hired us to go ahead and just remake her website. And so we created a whole new brand for her. And you can find her website at pfsurcpa.com. It's been such a pleasure to have you on the show. I'm glad that you are my very first guest on the Purpose Empower show. And we're glad that the Purpose Empower Nation got a chance to hear from you. She's not only my CPA, she can be your CPA too. Make sure you reach out to her. I love you so much. Thank you for coming on my show. We are so excited for everything that's happening, and we are going to see you next week. We're going to be back here, same time, same place with a brand new guest on, it's called Purpose and Power with Stephen Walker, so that you can find your purpose and your power. We will see you next week. God bless.
I am Black business. From the moment I wake until the time I sleep, I am Black business. I am Black business. Are you Black business? I am Black business. Do you support Black businesses? I support Black business because I am Black business. Black Business Expo, one of the largest business showcases in the history of Black America in North Carolina. Sign up today at www.blackbusinessexpousa.com or call 919-380-9090. I am Black business. I am Black business. From the moment I wake until the time I sleep, I am Black business. I am Black business. Are you Black business? I am Black business. Do you support Black businesses? I support Black business because I am Black business. Black Business Expo, one of the largest business showcases in the history of Black America in North Carolina. Sign up today at www.blackbusinessexpousa.com or call 919-380-9090. I am Black business. I am Black business. From the moment I wake until the time I sleep, I am Black business. I am Black business. Are you Black business? I am Black business. Do you support Black businesses? I support Black business because I am Black business. Black Business Expo, one of the largest business showcases in the history of Black America in North Carolina. Sign up today at www.blackbusinessexpousa.com or call 919-380-9090. I am Black business. I am Black business. From the moment I wake until the time I sleep, I am Black business. I am Black business. Are you Black business? I am Black business. Do you support Black businesses? I support Black business because I am Black business. Black Business Expo, one of the largest business showcases in the history of Black America in North Carolina. Sign up today at www.blackbusinessexpousa.com or call 919-380-9090. I am Black business. I am Black business. From the moment I wake until the time I sleep, I am Black business. I am Black business. Are you Black business? I am Black business. Do you support Black businesses? I support Black business because I am Black business. Black Business Expo, one of the largest business showcases in the history of Black America in North Carolina. Sign up today.